Here's the deal. I own a lot of GANs. For instance, the 357, the 11M Pro, and the GAN 14. I have a couple more, but I absolutely hate GAN. So I've set off to make my own Rubik's Cube that's better and cheaper than GAN. Before the video starts, this is a very, very time-consuming and expensive process, so I would love it if you guys subscribed, liked, and commented on this video to help me out just a little bit so I can keep making these videos. So you guys saw a few videos ago, I made the OV1 cube, which is in this bag because it is everywhere and falling apart and not good. Last video, we also made the OV2 cube, which I think has a lot of potential, but there is a few big issues. So I guess the main issue, also the biggest issue, was that I printed these center caps with a little volcano-shaped plastic piece in the middle. And why this is a problem is because my screws are not long enough to reach into the core without conflicting and touching this piece, which also means I can't fit the springs. This episode, I want to make this cube more functional so we can actually test the pieces and figure out what we need to change. So there's one big thing I need to do. I need to find longer screws that will fit into my core and allow enough room to have a spring in all of the sides. That way we can have more of a full functioning Rubik's Cube that turns a lot better than this. It's not bad, but this is not a speed cube. So here are my options. We have the Waylong GTS, we have the Volk 3M, Along V2, and Zanchi. These cubes are a lot older, so I'm guessing that the springs are maybe a bit longer. Two very likely options. And then also, we have some 4x4s. In case these don't work, I will completely take apart my 4x4 just for the springs, just for you guys, just for this video. I wanted to try the Volk 3M first because I think that has the most potential. So let's take that thing apart. So if you guys saw last video, you will know that these screws are a lot longer than what we used previously. So let's go ahead, take apart what we got here and see if the pieces just briefly fit into this core. And my biggest issue is I made this cube so unpoppable that I can't even get the pieces out of it. Not a bad thing. All right, so now we've just got this big mess of pieces. But I guess I'd have to take the whole cube apart eventually, so no biggie. But look at that. The piece fits in actually really nice. There's a little bit of kind of shearing going on here, so maybe it's not the perfect size, but let's go ahead and put together the first two layers and just kind of see how it looks. All right, I'm actually like blown away how well this fits. I still don't know if this is the perfect size of screw and spring that I'll be using, but I think this is a lot better than the last version. So I'll keep assembling this and hopefully we can get some first turns out of this cube. So where do we go from here? My best guess is gonna be we need to glue some magnets in ASAP. As you saw from my first turns, the stability of this cube is really not so good. So put the magnets in, and then next step, we need to sand down the inside of these pieces. You know, I guess the more that I think about it, maybe we do the sanding first and then put the magnets in. Yeah, let's do that. Let me go to the store quick and I will grab a sanding block and we can go ham on these pieces. All right, so it is about 3 hours later, and this is so dumb. Every single store I went to was sold out of sandpaper. I don't know if people are doing a lot of DIY stuff or what, but I don't have sandpaper. Let me put it like this. I don't have the exact sandpaper I wanted, but I found in my toolbox a couple things. First, we have 180 grit, which is pretty rough. It's not as rough as I'd like to get on this, but it'll do. I also found this piece of 100 grit, which will help us. Maybe I'll just start with the 100 grit, go down to 180 to kind of smooth it out. And then finally, I have one sheet of the 600 grit, which is going to be, I guess, pretty soft. It's not perfect. I would have really liked to get like 1,000 or 2,000 grit to really make the pieces soft, but there's only so much we can do. To keep the video going, we will just use exactly what we have, so no biggie. I'm gonna put it in time-lapse mode really quick here, but first I'm gonna sand the exterior of the pieces, then I'm gonna take it all apart, and I'm gonna do like the inside faces of the pieces, and then we'll kind of come back and reevaluate where we're at. So let me take these caps off and we'll get sanding on this thing. All right, well, it doesn't look like much, but it's honest work. This whole little gray spot here is, well, I guess it's hard to see on camera, but it's all cube dust. We probably shed like 3 pounds here worth of plastic. That's an exaggeration, but you get what I mean. So, I mean, you kind of see like the sandpaper marks, but this cube feels completely smooth, which is a lot better than I thought I'd get with 600 grit sandpaper. And again, these edges, we see those marks, but this feels so smooth. And we got a lot of dust in the hole there. So these are ready to get rinsed off. I'll probably just take a dry rag and wipe all these. Potentially, you know, screw it. Let's go ahead and take a wet rag and wipe all of these off, get them really clean. Now that I'm looking at these magnet holes, they might be a little bit small, but I'm gonna test a few things and see if I can get anything to fit into here. Let's go ahead and clean this thing off. All right, so it is an hour later. These things are still drying off, but we got them very, very clean nonetheless. So we got most of that dirt and plastic off of here. These things are very, very smooth now. I mean, you can still see a little bit of grooves in there, but these things feel completely smooth to the touch. I, on the other hand, am trying to get magnets out of, well, this is now our 4th donor cube. And I'm trying to pull the magnets out of the pieces so I can put them in the new cube. I've been at this for like 30 minutes and I cannot, for the life of me, get these magnets out of here. So we're gonna do the next best thing. I'm gonna go ahead and go to speedcubeshop.com, and I'm gonna order a set of magnets and a few sets of stickers so that when we finish these cubes, we can have stickers to put on them, see how they look, see how they perform. So I don't have a lot left planned for this video, but I do want to reassemble this cube to see how it performs after it's been cleaned up a little bit. So I've got my core here, very dirty core. Man, I should probably clean this too. Screw it, let's not do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this thing back together and see how it works with, yeah, look at that. Feels like really slick too on here, which is great. Let's go ahead and put it back together and come back and see how it performs. All right, so we've got this thing put back together and we did have a small issue. A couple of the corner pieces, like the end torpedoes are, well, they haven't fallen off yet, but they look like they might. And this is no error of design. It's the type of plastic I actually used to 3D print this. It's just not as strong. When this thing does get mass produced, I am gonna use the best plastic that I find for durability, good turning, and a lightweight cube, because I want you guys to get the best bang for your buck when you do buy this cube. Before we do some first turns with the new sanded down pieces, I did want to add some SpeedCube Shop Nebula just to see if this might help anything. I understand this is a huge waste of lube because we'll probably be scrapping this cube, but I think it'll be a big help and kind of help me gauge where I am in the design process of this thing. So just got some lube in there. Let's go ahead and work it around. Oh yeah, that helped a ton. Oh my gosh. If you just saw that, we are getting really, really close to having like an actual speed cube. I am very mightily impressed with this thing so far. We are getting a lot of catching though, and that's probably because of the loose tensions of the screws. This is definitely nowhere near where I want to be. Again, we still need to add magnets, stickers, and we do need to do a lot more design work on the pieces. I know a lot of you recommend doing like some of these grooves. Like this is the piece from the Volk 3 that we absolutely destroyed. But you see the grooves in here for lube. We definitely need to add those. And then the corner pieces, I mean, this is more of an old lube pattern, but something more along the lines of where we can have lube kind of sit in the pockets of this cube to really help it improve its turn quality. Another thing I want to address is the amount of catches that this cube is having. May need to round off the corner pieces in these areas. Maybe it'll help a little bit. Again, we're just doing trial and error, guys. The cube is not made overnight. Yeah, but we're definitely getting somewhere. So you guys let me know in the comments for the next episode, should we go ahead and start a brand new cube from scratch, iterating on this? Should we continue to fix up the OV2 and see how good we can get this thing? Up to you guys. I totally read all the comments and I respond to a great handful of them. So if you guys have any other suggestions or what we should do next with this cube, definitely let me know because I'm more than happy to hear you out. With that being said, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video and we'll see you in the next portion of this. Peace.